Hello and welcome to the Quantum Bridge with myself, Casper, and my co-host, wherever he is, Gary.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, look, I have to say thank you to you because you've been bringing some fantastic guests recently, many of them from X, so that's really been a great source for us. And rather than me going on, since we have got a brand new guest, I'll pass across to you and you can do the intros and get the show on the road.
Thank you, mate. Yes, today we have Steve with us, or Curly Bill, you might see down there, but we know him as Steve, who is the Vice President of the ARC Institute, which we will get into a little bit more today, find out what all that is. It's part of a much wider sort of digital asset sort of financial system. So we should dive into that as best we can, try and keep it simple, certainly for myself. Get a good overview. But first off, Steve, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's a little chilly up here in Alaska at the moment. Snow's falling, but we're all good.
Now, speaking of chili, I mean, let's maybe before we get into these assets, a little bit of background about yourself, because we can, us here can maybe hear a little twinge. I know you told us you're originally from England and somehow you've ended up in Alaska. So maybe a little bit of that and then how you got involved with the ARC Institute itself. It'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. I've been living in Alaska now for 18 years. Originally from Liverpool, England. I don't know, people might still be able to hear the accent. Most Americans can hear it, but, moved here 18 years ago, as I said, bought some land, ended up getting married, had a couple of kids, built the cabin that I'm in right now, and live basically out in the bush with the bears and the moose and caribou and all that type of stuff. As for getting into digital assets and what have you, again, I started probably during the COVID era when, not a lot was happening and stuff. And I started looking into different ideas, different thoughts, different ways of being, knowing that the systems that we have now are in kind of free fall, everything's kind of collapsing slowly but surely. So I was looking for alternatives ways of being, really. Started on Twitter, met a few people on Twitter, started chatting with them and what have you, and ended up getting into digital assets and moved from Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff into the XRP ledger, which seemed to me to have a lot more going for it in many ways that I think will see it through as being the main sort of train tracks, let's say, that everything's going to probably run on. And from getting into XRP, I then found a few smaller altcoins that I found very interesting, particularly the Reaper financial ecosystem, which at that point was just Reaper itself. It was all about life and death and growing anew and that type of thing. And then since then, we've branched out into different areas. Now it is generally referred to as the RES, the RES, which is the Riley Economic System. And it covers a gamut, really, of anything and everything that you can think of that needs improving on the planet. I ended up meeting with a gentleman called Greg, who is our CEO of ARC Institute. He was looking at charity. He wanted to get into charities in some way, because he knew how negatively a lot of people see charity work and charities, and there's corruption behind, but people also want to be able to help other people. Then we met with Patrick, who is the CEO of everything that's RES orientated, and ARC was slowly but surely born. We got a group of people together who were all interested from the Reaper ecosystem, created foundation, founder members rather, and then created the Ark Institute, which is basically about funding charities and helping charities become self-fundable. So they don't need to be spending all their time out and about fundraising and stuff. They can actually use our system and create funding for themselves. And then that way they can concentrate on what they do best. And that's kind of an opening to where we're at, really.
Yeah, fantastic. So there's like three different tokens that I'm aware of. I think it's the Reaper one, your Ark Institute, and the Ascension token. I think there's these 5 in total, though, is there? And is there another?
Yeah, there's actually a couple more, but the whole thing is being built as an alternative economic system. Patrick's a very, very clever man, and he sees how everything is broken and basically everything can be improved. We as a human species can do so much better than what we're doing right now. He sees things differently to most people, and he's created this whole economic system, as I say, which Ark Institute is one section of that. Probably too much to get into the whole RES in one sitting. Probably best just moving with one token more than anything. But needless to say, there's many branches, many arms to this. And it has Patrick, we call him the Elon Musk of the XRP world, right? He just has that same kind of quality, wanting to make things better for the world, and has his hands in many different pies that are all aimed at helping humanity.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, is Patrick's background traditional finance, or what does he come from in terms of his background?
Patrick is ex-military, and he has a different outlook and a different way of thinking. He has. I don't really want to get too much into Patrick's background himself. I would let him or other people, discuss his life and how he's been. But he's had a different kind of life, really. He's ex-military. When he came out of the military is when he started forming the RES, really, the Riley economic system. And it's grown slowly over about 2 years now, to where we're at right now.
Right. Okay. Another question that I was keen to ask as well was, it's seen from, and hopefully we can show some of these slides, but that you were kind enough to supply. But certainly from what I've seen of the various tokens, there is sort of this, and you've alluded to it as well, Steve, this thing of being very much related to sort of the XRP ecosystem. Can you just give a bit more info as to why, for you guys, I mean, many of our viewers will probably be aware of XRP, and some may hold it and watch it very closely, but others, this might be new to them, or they might just have a few XRP and that's as far as it goes. Can you give a reason, as far as you're aware, as to why XRP has been the chosen sort of route?
Absolutely, yeah. Mainly, let me think about this one. XRP is very cheap to utilize. Ripple, the company that created XRP, were sued recently by the SEC. And that everybody probably is aware of that. Ripple and XRP basically came out on top, and they are really the only crypto with clarity that is recognized now as being it's kind of untouchable now, I suppose. A bit of the way Bitcoin is, but Bitcoin's like the old granddad, I suppose. I know it's not super old, 10 years old, what have you, but it's kind of the old granddad. It's slow, ponderous, behind the times. XRP is fast. It's secure. It's never had any problems or issues. You can build upon the XRP ledger itself, which is what we're doing, and quite a few other companies are doing too. And it's more about this. It's about the speed, the reliability, the fact that we see it. It has the future of basically the world financial system is going to probably be running on it. At least right now, we see it probably as being the Western world, but it could even branch out into BRICS nations and stuff. We don't really know how it's going to be. We just know it's like it's the tracks that we want to run on because we see it's reliable and steady and consistent and cheap to use and really user friendly. You know, a Zaman wallet, which is the wallet that you would open to conduct everything on the XRP ledger, is very easy to use, very secure, and you basically can be your own bank using digital. I still get my wages paid in to a traditional bank, but no sooner has it gone in there, I take the majority of it out and move it into the ledger, and I conduct my own personal business. If I need to send somebody else money, I can send it to them within 3 seconds. They've got it, received it, and it's all perfect. You know, I look at the old banking system now and I see slow, ponderous paper checks still. Takes a week, 10 days to send money anywhere. It's kind of crazy. It's very old. It's like an 1800s system. It's like an 1800s car, like a Ford, a Model T Ford running on a highway or a motorway now. It would be out of place, you know, and that's what the old fiat banking system is like, in my view.
Yeah, interesting. And just to throw I don't think it's probably a real spanner in the works, but, you know, a coin that Gary and I have certainly watched and been close to for a long, long time is the sort of, I don't know whether it's like a cousin really, but anyway, it is XLM, so Stellar Lumens and so on.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you guys in any way had any, or do you have any views on that, or any thoughts or any interaction with that, or are you just so absolutely behind the whole XRP thing that would be too much of a diversion to think about that and the Stellar ecosystem?
Well, everything we've built has been built on the XRP ledger. Trying to shift over to something else now would be kind of pointless. I support Stellar absolutely.
Yeah,
I would definitely and have and do hold several of the ISO 222 coins. I don't know if you're aware of those.
Yeah. So the likes of maybe Quant or XDC, there's a range of other coins, aren't there? Algorand's maybe another one.
Yeah, for sure. But the XRPL is what we've chosen to run everything on. It's far-reaching around the world, and as much as XLM and Quant and IOTA and all these other ISO 222 coins are part of the new system, XRPL is where we've built.
Yeah, it does make sense because I do think by a lot of people now it is seen as the banking coin and the sort of coin of the future in that sense, and that maybe coins like XLM, for example, are much more about sort of personal finance and not operating quite at that level of XRP. Do you see, I mean, is there a lot of talk about pricing of sort of where XRP could go to? I mean, the problem with the whole pricing argument, of course, is that you're looking at what would it be worth in terms of fiat. And if fiat is basically for most of us becoming something that is almost irrelevant, why would you say, oh, well, it could go to 30,000 or it could go to 100, it could go to £10 or $10 or whatever when that becomes notional? But I just wonder whether or not you see it becoming a very sought after and expensive item, because at the moment it's sitting at like maybe, I don't know, 70 cents a coin. It does seem bizarre.
There's a lot of before I say any more, really, I'd like to say that everything I say is nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
None of what we're saying is financial
but
advice.
we're all just speculating and having ideas. I get it. I would say that XRP will find its own level. It's probably being suppressed in some manner right now, just because we live in a very corrupt world, and I'm sure a lot of the big boys in the financial system are waiting for complete, total, and utter end of the SEC case and what have you, and full closure before they invest. There's a lot of hidden stuff. There's like 1,700 different. I don't really know what you'd call them now. There's companies waiting in the background, let's say, to come on board, and maybe there's buying going on. I don't know. It's all speculation. But XRP could reach huge numbers, or it could reach $100, or it could reach $50. I don't know. Best thing you can say is that if you ask what is a dollar worth, a dollar is worth a dollar, right? XRP will be the same. XRP will be worth what XRP is worth. And eventually, when the dollar collapses, which a lot of people think is happening and seeing and happening in the real world, and we move over into a digital age, which is going to surprise the masses, I think, XRP will probably be one, if not the main coin that everything runs on. And I'm sure there's a lot of people are going to be disagreeing with me, but that's my sense, my feel of it. I think Bitcoin will always be there. It'll be a good store of value. I don't think it's going to be used for daily transactions. But the way it's going to, I don't know, we're all speculating right now. It's all just up in the air, and we're all guessworking and making the best that we can. Yeah. What we've done is we built on the XRP ledger. We started building the RES, the Riley Economic System, and we're hoping to be able to do wonders with this for the people of the planet, for the people of the world. For everything is about making things better for humanity. And that's why I moved into the ARC Institute side of things with Greg, because this is the main way that we can start building and helping people directly.
Yeah, just on that note, I did notice from the slides that you were good enough to provide us, Steve, that those slides sort of showed the mechanisms under which the coin would be produced and potentially bought into, and the XRP element there, and then sort of a various spread of how that would then be allocated. And part of that did seem to be, certainly on one or more of those coins, about supporting sort of foundations or charities or other sort of humanitarian projects, as Gary and I might refer to things like that. And, it's lovely to see that, I'm not saying that this will either be easy or not easy. Who knows how tough this will be to do, but just the fact that people are thinking like that now, and it feels like the heart is returning to the world of finance. I think that in itself is a major paradigm shift. I mean, I guess that you'd agree with that, but I wonder how you feel on a more personal level about the fact that it does look like we could be moving into a quote unquote golden age.
I would agree. I think the world feels like it's splitting, into different directions, and every single part I feel of the world that we live in, whether it be the physical world, the emotional world, the financial world, whatever, is all seems like it's separating and dividing. And it's about, we all create our own reality at the end of the day. And it's about what you choose, what you want for your life, which direction you're going to head. No matter which way we do end up going financially, we need finance. It's part and parcel of our lives. And the way we're hoping to take things for us is in a fairer system, a system that works for the people, At the moment now, the old fiat banking system works for the few. It works for the 1%. It doesn't work for you and for me, and for everybody listening to the show. It's a very small amount of people that benefit from the system that we're in now. The system that we're producing benefits you and me. It helps you and me. It helps people less fortunate than us. You know, we at ARC, we have 4 charities currently right now that we are funding and helping fund, and we are branching out. I think we've probably in the year and a couple of months that we've been around, we've actually helped these charities to the tune of $80,000. Just these 4 charities. We are planning on branching out more and more. 2 more charities with the system that we have set up, you know. The charities, all they have to do at the end of the day is have a Zum wallet. And oh, sorry, my bad, they changed the name. It's a Zaman wallet now. The charities that we have on our books, though, they all hold a Zaman wallet. They have ARC in their wallet, ARC coin, ARC token, I mean. And that coin itself produces funds for the charity. And the charity don't have to actually do anything other than, they're still fundraising, don't get me wrong, they're still fundraising for themselves, but this is a stepping stone towards changing the way they do things so they can start focusing on the people that need their assistance rather than spending 90% of their time fundraising and 10% helping people. We're trying to make it the other way around for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think all of us are looking for this complete inversion of what is already an inversion, i.e. coming back to something approaching what we feel is sort of true and right and normal and
Sure.
should be the way of things. I think that's lovely. In terms of the vetting process, because I think there's 2 things about charities. One is the thing that you've been pointing out about they spend a lot of time. There's a lot of sort of layers in charities that suck some of the money that maybe people feel should be going more directly to the end recipients. I'm not knocking any particular charity. I don't know enough about it. But the other area is that, you know, charities themselves aren't always quite what they purport to be potentially. And that's another thing that seems to be sort of certainly on platforms like X. There's a lot of talk about that sort of thing. So I just wonder how we can all be sure that what we're doing and what we're supporting, and hopefully as we all sort of raise our financial abilities through the likes of these various coins, how can we be secure in knowing that the funds that we might apportion to things like that, to what we see as great causes that we want to support, are actually going to end up sort of with the right people and doing the right thing? I'm not saying that that's an easy question to answer, right, or an easy thing to do. I just wonder how you're thinking about and tackling that whole aspect of, you know, as it stands, it seems to have gone down a fairly dark road, and I just wonder if there is a way to bring that back into the light somewhat.
Absolutely. Well, that is part of why ARC Institute was formed. That exact thing. People, when they donate to charity now, they don't know really where it goes, what happens. A lot of charities, again, I'm not naming any names with charities, but a lot of charities, they have CEOs who are multi-millionaires, you know, and the charity itself is falling apart around them. And ARC Institute wanted to step in and do something a little different. So we have a set of gates. There's 8 gates, I believe, altogether. Or is there 12? Well, anyway, on our website, if you go to our website, arc.institute, you can actually see all the gates that we have. And any charities that we have, that we work with directly, have to meet all of the gates that we have there. And there's a variety of gates from, you know, how much money is actually that goes into the charity actually goes to the people in need, you know. Maybe that another gate might be the CEO and the employees of the charity can't earn above market rate for their particular position. There's several gates that we put up there, and if a charity doesn't pass all the gates, then we will not have it on our direct books. That is not to say that we will not help other charities too. We want to make charities better. We want them to improve. We have an option whereby we will have another funding source of funding coming to help charities that meet some of our gates. For instance, we have gates 4, 5, 6, and 8. So it's not quite as stringent for those charities, but then we will work with those charities at improving themselves so they can eventually meet all our gates.
Right. Yeah.
The 4 charities that we have on right now are high quality charities. They meet all our gates. We are in contact with all of them. We actually are several members of ARC Institute, including Patrick, are heading up to Alaska next week, and we are going to meet and video and film at one of the charities itself, up in Alaska here, Battle Dogs, who deal with veterans and what have you. But
Great.
they're again all listed on our charity, on our website, arc.institute. Anyone can go and check them out and see, and read the white paper too while you're there, because it's a really interesting read.
Brilliant. And obviously, any of these things you're alluding to now, Steve, we'll put anything in the description that you want us to. Hopefully, we'll put some of the slides up, but certainly we'll put any of these links so that people can follow up and see more detail. And of course, we'll want to invite you back to do a bit of a deeper dive on some of the verticals that we haven't got the time to cover in depth today. So from my perspective, I want to thank you. I'm imagining that we're running close to time, but Gary, is there anything else you wanted to ask or add?
Yeah, we've only got a couple of minutes left, really, but I think we've had a great overview. It'd be nice if Steve comes back and covers some of the, like I say, the other aspects of the passive income and the sort of the way that the holders can get sort of real physical metal back and things. But maybe just on closing on this whole digital system itself, I think there's a lot of fear out there that people have of like CBDCs, coins. But I feel like you mentioned earlier, Steve, that it can be very empowering in becoming your own bank. So maybe just in the last minute or two, what are your feelings and how can you sort of help people to not be so afraid of that digital type system?
When you first venture into digital assets, you tend to find it is a scary place to be. It's new, it's different. Think of it as driving a car. The very first time you get into a car, you're scared, you're worried, you're nervous. Your parent might get in next to you, and they take you on a drive and you're worried, you're scared. Now, when you look back, you think, oh my God, how easy is driving a car now? It's exactly the same with digital assets. When you first move into it, if you were to go to, I don't know, say Google Play and download a Zaman wallet as a start off, you would then open that wallet up and you would see, actually, this is pretty straightforward. This seems pretty easy. It's getting easier by the day. There's DEXs that you can go to, which is decentralized exchanges, whereby you can connect your bank account and you can use your fiat to buy different tokens and what have you, and that type of thing. And that's basically how people would end up buying XRP or Altcoin or Reaper Coin or Ascension or what have you. Like anything, it's a learning process. It's going to be made easier step by step. Our websites are eventually going to have a place you can go and press a button and make a purchase. So, it's all coming. It's step by step, slow process, but I would advise people to start looking into it now before it takes over the world and you're like, oh, what happened? Get on the bus now. It's much easier to do it now while there's no pressure on you.
Yep, I agree. You don't have to wait when people are saying what's going on. You can start dabbling now. So, and I said,
make life easier for people. Yep.
Great. Thank you very much for your time today, Steve. We hope you join us again, and because it's a fascinating subject.
Absolutely, I'd love to come on again. So much more we could talk about. So many layers to this onion. So yeah, thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure. Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Take care. Bye.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.